I'm Kris Jung. I'm a Los Angeles-based hair and makeup artist. I work on set. I work in TV, film, and print. And today I'm going to show you how to use the signature brush line and do a super cute look. Okay, so I do have a little bit of concealer under my eyes. I do have foundation on right now, so we've already run through those steps. Now, since I'm going to wear contour, and I like to wear contour pretty much every day, I'm gonna make sure that my cheeks, I do have like a tiny bit of scarring. You can't really tell that much, only I can tell, but I noticed that I can get a little patchy here when I put on cream contour and then powder. So I just want it to look super seamless, and I'm gonna start by using the Signature foundation brush. It's really soft, I mean, wow. And you could even use this with powder and powder touch up T-zone throughout the day. And since it's flat, you'll get a super, super matte look once you do put the powder on with this brush specifically, because it's flat. The concealer that I've really been loving lately for the rest of my face is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and this one's in medium beige. It's very high coverage, so I'm really, really not gonna use too much. I'm honestly scraping most of it off. And then I'm gonna go in with a foundation brush, get some of that camo concealer on, and I'm gonna just go through here to sort of make everything nice and smooth, prep it for contouring. And obviously, I don't need the highest coverage concealer, but I just like, I want to look snatched, okay? And I like that it also blends out the product. Besides applying it, it definitely blends it out really nicely. Just put a little bit on my nose. My nose needs some coverage. I've really been loving this Fenty Beauty contour stick. This is the matchstick in Mocha. And I'm gonna take this angled blush and contouring brush by Signature. And I'm not gonna go on straight to the bullet to my face with this contour stick. It's a little too heavy-handed to just put it right on your face. So I am going to even warm it up on the back of my hand a little bit and then go in with the angled contouring brush. And then ever so lightly. All right, so now suck in your cheeks, right? You're gonna wanna find where your contour starts. Go a little bit higher than that. And then just sort of start sculpting. Really lightly. No scraping, no pushing the makeup in, jamming it into your pores. You don't want that. It's starting to get a little contoured here, that's what we want. Using sort of like the tip of the angled brush. I'm a huge fan of constantly blending. Damp sponge. Getting the excess water off because you don't want it to be soaking wet. Just going right where my cheek is. Blending, blending. So I like a really light contour, and I'm also going to sandwich on top a powder so that it stays even longer than if I just did cream. And I'm gonna go in again, color it on my hand, take the Signature angled contouring brush, which you can also use for cream and liquid blush as well, but right now I'm just gonna contour with it. Sort of start to map it out, right? Even kind of like stamping it on. And it's such a good shape for the contouring. It's small because you don't want it to be huge. You don't want a huge contour on your face. It's just going to look like one weird jawline. You want to sculpt it out. I'm using sort of the tip again to buff away any line, stamping it on, not dragging and scraping. The brush hairs are so soft, and that's really going to help make it a soft look. Really soft contour. Kind of just going and stippling it on, if that makes sense. I'm going to go in a little deeper and just keep layering the product on. It's better to do it lightly and do light layers than go full regalia. Getting deeper. Sometimes I like to deepen my contour when I go out because it's just kind of going to make it a little more dramatic, make my cheekbones really show up in the dark. And then go back in with my signature ultra sponge and just start blending. And then using the tip again right here. Because it doesn't have that much product on, you can start to buff away the line. Okay, so now that I've done the cream contour, I'm going to bronze my whole face. I like a tan face. It's not for everyone, but if you want to know how to make your face pretty toasted and natural at the same time, you want to go in with a big rounded powder and blush brush. The bigger the better, honestly, because then you're just going to deposit the color more evenly and make it look like you have a nice tan. I'm going to go ahead and bronze my whole face up with Hula Light. Right now, I'm pretty pale. I can get really tan, but I'm going to use light right now, and I'm going to use the rounded powder and blush brush and swirl it in. Tap it off and start to set that contour a little bit while giving myself a nice tan. It's almost like just setting the foundation as well, because I am putting it all over my face. It's just going to make the makeup last longer. Over my whole cheek, because I just want to look bronzed. I want it to look like summer. Okay, so I've already done a light dusting of bronzer with this signature rounded powder and blush brush. I think I'm going to do a really natural cheek. I'm going to do a stained cheek. I love this one by Noto Botanics. So I'm going to use the flat foundation brush to start to put the cream blush on. That's also a stain. And since I have powder on my face already, I'm going to go back in with a glowy face mist by Lila B and kind of dampen my skin again before putting a cream product on. It's okay to put cream products on over powdered skin or powder products as long as you dampen the skin one more time before putting the product on, because if you don't, it's going to drag all over your face, you're going to get blotchy, and it's not going to look good. Okay. So your skin is damp. You can definitely put a cream product on now. I really love how small this is. The flat foundation brush, because I can go right into this little pot, and there's not many brushes that can go right into the pot. I mean, it's like seamless fit here. All right, definitely blend it a little bit with the back of your hand. And then going on the apples of the cheeks, start to dot it on. Get a little bit more. Definitely a natural, clean beauty product. So it looks crazy. I'm still gonna blend it out, don't worry. Doll vibes. Don't want that, that's weird. So it looks splotchy. Obviously it's not gonna stay like that. Go back in with your angled blush and contouring brush. It has a little bit of contour product on it from when I was using it to contour, but it's just gonna bronze up the other product anyway and look pretty. And go around the edge of your cheek stain. So soften the edges. And if you don't like stained looks, I mean, you're not gonna like this cheek. It's not supposed to be perfect looking. It's not supposed to be powdery airbrush perfection. It's supposed to be natural. It's supposed to be pinched cheeks. You can even go in with, where'd she go? Go in again with the flat foundation brush, which had a little bit of concealer on from before, and clean up around the edges as well. Okay, now we're gonna move on to brows. I'm gonna use the angled brow brush, and I'm gonna use sort of like an eyebrow pomade by e.l.f. And you can also use these as eyeshadow bases as well, which is really cool. This one's medium brown. You can dip right into the product. These are cool because you can use powder products as well, and cream. So I'm just gonna go underneath my brow to start to thicken them and shape them. I like the size of this brush because it's thin, but it's going to give longer, nice strokes rather than if it were a shorter, tighter brush hairs. And they're vegan and cruelty-free since they are synthetic, so that's really nice. Nice long strokes underneath my brows. Starting to get a little thicker and a little fuller. Especially towards the front of my brow. I want it to be really soft, so I'm going to go in with a lighter color, and this one's just a light brown, the same e.l.f. eyebrow gel. And just start to fluff them up in the front. Looking good. Nice and fluffy, nothing too harsh underneath the front of my brow. Then you're gonna get block brows, and that's not cute, sweetie. Just following to the tail end, not going above my brow, because I think that's where you just lose the natural brow look. And I like natural brows. My little strokes are going upwards to mimic hairs, all the way to the tail end of my brow. Going upwards with the darker shade. Definitely get a really soft brow look with how soft the brush hairs are, and they're tightly packed, but they're not too tightly packed, so they're feathering out more, and that's what I want. I want feathery, soft brows. What makes me miserable is not having my brows look the same. And I'm sure you can relate to that. People say, they're cousins, not twins. Well, I really just want them to be twins. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. It's a nice fluffy brow for you guys. Cool. The front of my brow here is a little more sparse than the other side. So Going in again with the lighter shade, light brown. And just carve a little more shape upwards. Also, if you get a little messy because this brush is a little bit bigger, you can just go in with Q-tips and start cleaning up, but I'm pretty happy with them. Yep. And then always, for me, it's crucial to brush out my brows. So I'm gonna use the Lash and Brow Groomer. Dual-ended, which is really nice, so you can go in after you do your mascara if it starts to get a little clumpy and separate. And I think it's really important to comb through your lashes. It's gonna look so much better. I mean, especially if you're doing layers of mascara, it's gonna make them look more voluminous. You don't want one eyelash. So definitely brush through those. This is a boar's head bristle, so when you use boar's head bristle, it really just, it grabs all of the hair, unlike a synthetic brush would, grabs all the hair and sticks them straight up. I mean, that's fantastic. Kind of teasing your brow hairs, make them look a lot fuller. Looks so pretty. It's just a really nice alternative than using a normal spoolie to buff all the harsh lines. And when you buff the product, it just looks so much more feathered, natural, super pretty. Pretty brows. And if you ever wanted to clean the bristles, you could just take some dish soap and a nail brush. That's a trick that a hairstylist taught me, a nail brush to clean your spoolies and hairbrushes and just lightly go through, because you'll get some buildup after using it after a while. You want to keep it clean. Or you can just use a little bit of dry brush cleanser. And then what's cool about this side is there's a little cap that comes off. This is very sharp, so you do want to keep the cap. And you want it to be sharp anyway, but it's just going to separate your lashes really nicely. And so you want to do that definitely after the first coat of mascara. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to eyes. I want to do a really fun, colorful look.